All right, play. So listen, most people don't know that high porosity hair can be caused by the overuse and the over manipulation of the hair shaft, right? And just let me connect these dots. The same year we did curl typing and all of that stuff is the same time that everybody started planning their hair. Remember in part 1, make sure you go watch part 1 if you haven't done that already. The bleeding causes of high porosity hair is manual manipulation, mechanical damage. Mechanical damage happens when you are constantly in your hair when the hair is wet. If you know that mechanical damage happens when you are constantly in your hair when your hair is weakest, and all of these brands are constantly making products and the directions on the products are telling you to do things and style your hair only when the hair is wet. By you knowing the science of hair, you know that mechanical damage and holes in the cuticle and all of these different hair disorders over here are caused by over manipulation of the hair when the hair is wet. So again, we have co-washing that come up, finger detangling, finger coiling, and all of these different things that cause a mass amount of manual manipulation on the hair shaft. When all of these different hair disorders started popping up where they weren't there before. Again, I learned about a lot of these hair shaft disorders years and years before the whole Team Natural thing ever started, but none of these scalp disorders and none of these different hair shaft disorders were popping up the way that they're popping up now. For every year that goes by, there's a brand new product coming by that's teaching you,
hey, all you gotta do is put this on your hair and do this with your hands and do this little trick, do this one little hairstyle, and then boom, shaka the boom, your hair gonna be okay.
and see what happens is the high porosity hair has a cuticle that's lifted. So anything that you put on the hair, like even petroleum, if you go put product and you go put Vaseline on the hair shaft, it's going to make your hair shaft feel better than it felt before, because high porosity hair has a raised cuticle. So because we don't know how hair is supposed to feel naturally, you just compare a smooth cuticle to a raised cuticle and you like, this is how hair is supposed to feel, this feels better than this, not understanding that what you're feeling is your cuticle raised. And by you styling your hair the right way and by you using the right products in the right way with the right tool, your cuticle will be smooth. But what they did, they gave y'all and they just pumped the market full of all of these products that promise slip, that promise shine. And the thing is, it will give slip, it will give shine, because it's putting a layer on top of the hair shaft. So because there's a layer of petroleum, anything that's layered in petroleum is gonna slip right past each other. But see, the problem lies in this, and they knew it the whole time, and they knew that it was a product that they would constantly make millions off of for long periods of time. You know why? It's a disorder that's never cured. They're just band-aids being put on it. Let me explain. This is the funny part that's not funny, because it made hairstylists enemy number one, where in reality it wasn't their fault, because they know that they've just been putting a band-aid on top of damaged hair. And you've been Team Naturalin for 11 years, or you've been Team Naturalin for 5 or 6 years, right? And you doing the lock method and you doing all of these different hairstyles, and you putting, meanwhile your hair feels good because your curls are pretty and shiny and you don't see nothing, right? Your hair looks freaking amazing, and when you stretch it out, it's all super long. So you like,
yup, it's time to go get my hair done. Yes.
Then you go and see a cosmetologist, and a cosmetologist, a good one, when the very first time he or she gets in your hair, the very first thing they're going to do is give you a clarifying shampoo and detox your scalp and your hair shaft. That means that if you are a person who's been doing Team Natural and having all of these different forms of mechanical damage, right, that are self-identifying themselves as high porosity hair, All right, you have all of these different disorders and you've been doing the lock method. So for example, just one scalp disorder right here, as you can see, it has so many different holes in the hair shaft. But if you're doing the lock method and you taking a liquid, a oil, and a cream, right, and you layering that on top of it, putting a layer of those products are definitely gonna fill these microscopic holes. So then you go to a cosmetologist and they give you a detoxifying treatment where it detoxifies the scalp and removes everything that doesn't belong there naturally, and it detoxifies the hair shaft, removing everything that doesn't belong there naturally. Then you're left with nothing but the holes that were in the hair shaft that you've been covering with all of these products. So then the hairstylist is not something that you can see microscopically unless you have a magnifying glass, and you don't even have one of those unless you go buy one or unless you are a cosmetologist and a trichologist. Then if you're a cosmetologist and a trichologist, you can look at the hair shaft under a microscope and say, okay, you can't get no silk press today, right? But if you can't do that, all I'm doing is just detoxifying the scalp like I was taught to do before I use any type of heat tools. But then you have all of these holes and splits within the hair shaft, and then the hairstylist puts a flat iron to it, and then your hair is screwed up. It's not the hairstylist's fault. All she did was use a flat iron on it, but you didn't tell her that you had a hair shaft disorder. She had no idea, and there's no way that you could see it with the naked eye, right? But these brands know that. They know that, right? So they know that you're gonna use their products, you're gonna fill these holes, you're gonna layer them up, and they'll never lose you. Because when you go to a cosmetologist, they know the same science that a cosmetologist know. So they know that the first thing a cosmetologist is going to do is remove all product. That's why the telltale sign for you to see if whether or not you dealing with a cosmetologist or just a licensed braider is by knowing if whether or not they want you to come with their hair already shampooed. Because I don't care what nobody, if you got a licensed cosmetologist that's telling you that you gotta come with clean hair, she dusty. I've never met a licensed cosmetologist that says that. A licensed braider, absolutely. Because that ain't her job. It ain't her job to wash your hair, right? It's not her job to treat your scalp, but as a licensed cosmetologist, that is my job, right? If that's what you're paying for. So anyway, they know that you're gonna go into a cosmetologist and the first thing a cosmetologist is gonna do is detox. They know that. And I know that they know that because I work with these brands as well. So they know that you go in, and they know that the cosmetologist is gonna uncover all of the product. But then guess what? They have a product for that. You're not to blame for the holes in the hair shaft that caused you to get heat damage when she put the flat iron on it, not knowing that there were holes in your hair shaft, right? But the hairstylist gets blamed for it. The flat irons get blamed for it. The combs, the brushes, everything but the products, everything but the way that you've been doing your hair, everything but all of the different tools that you've been hacking in your hair, right? Everything but all of the layers of product that you've been putting on top of the hair, everything but that is at fault. That is the problem, and that is the thing that social media has used to play all of y'all. That is what how these brands have used social media and influencers to play y'all. And this is coming directly from the inside. Like I said, I work with a lot of these brands on a whole nother level, not like on no old promotional level, no, like a scientific level. So there are levels to it. It's not just all about, oh, what hair products do they want to see? No, there are people who are hired to simply look at the way that you think. There are people who are paid thousands, hundreds and thousands of dollars a year simply to look at social media and to see what you think about, to see what you're gravitating to, so that other brands can produce that. These companies pay people to look at what you are wanting to consume, what you're believing and what you're not believing, what you're feeding into, what you're not feeding into. They're not gonna spend $50,000 on an ad campaign just shooting in the dark. No, they're going off based on what you guys are posting online, based on what y'all talking about, based on what's most popular, and then they're gonna make products that link to that. So by us not having accountability and blaming hairstylists, it's like, okay, let's make products that make people able to do the stuff that a hairstylist could do at home, right? So that's the cycle that everybody's been in for all of these years. So for all of these years, people have been doing all of these different things to their hair. And I'm not saying the only way your hair can be healthy is if you going to see a professional. No, just learning the science of hair for yourself. I know some people that do their own hair at home that are better than a lot of these dusty ass hairstylists out here. I know these hairstylists dusty as hell. I know. That's why I was working in studio salons and not in a regular one. I didn't like the salon atmosphere either. Shit, I'm not arguing with y'all about that. I didn't like them either. But I'm saying that you have to really know the science. You have to know the game so that you won't get played, and so you'll be able to tell the difference between the hairstylists that I stayed away from and the ones like me. The same exact way y'all feel messy women and hair salons, and I feel the same way. You only had to be there once every 2 weeks, once a month, once every 6 months. I don't know. I was gonna have to be there every day. I did hair for 15 years. Out of those 15 years behind the chair, I was in a regular salon for maybe 6 months before I went to studio salons, and I never looked back. So I'm not saying that, oh, all hairstylists, like y'all wrong and these hairstylists are great. No, it's some that's dusty as hell. But that's why you have to learn the science, because hairstylists like me and the hairstylists like the ones that y'all are dealing with and the ones that tote products and all of that shit, we're in two completely different worlds. Like, this about to sound messed up, but the type of hairstylists that y'all say y'all be going to, this all ghetto and rude and shit, like, I never saw them ever. We never crossed paths ever. We were not the same compared to them Miami Martian. Okay, like, it was never like that. So that's what I mean when I say, like, oh, it's all about where you're shopping for hairstylists at, because they're not all like that. And if every hairstylist that you went to was like that, you're shopping for hairstylists the wrong way. Because I didn't work around my entire career. Even when I was at the shop, I was one of 3 black girls there. So even the shop that I was working at was nothing like what y'all be talking about. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I'm being real. We have to have accountability. We have to take accountability for letting these brands play us for the last however many years. We have to take accountability for the ratchet ass hairstylists that we pick. Because all hairstylists are not like that. Like, they're not. I was one of those ones, and I had some people in the comments like, oh, a 5-minute grace period, that's ridiculous. But guess what? The only ones that thought that my 5-minute grace period was ridiculous were the ones that were going to be late. All of my clients would be like 15-20 minutes early. Yeah, that's why I had a 5-minute grace period, because the majority of my clients over respected my time. So instead of them, if their appointment was at 1 o'clock, instead of them being there at 1 o'clock, they would be there at like 12:45 with snacks. So then I would be even more happy. So, but if you gonna be 20 minutes late and she was 20 minutes early and we didn't have snacks and we laughing and talking, and then I have a moment to sit down and wait for your ass, we got a problem, right? So that's why I just feel like from day one, we have to have accountability, because at the end of the day, these brands, did nobody put any gun up to nobody's head and made anybody pull out their pocketbook and buy anything. We have to take accountability for learning our own bodies. What's done is done. What's over is over. But now we cannot be blaming. We can't blame other people and cosmetologists for things that have been done to our hair over the years. If you've been following the stuff that you see on social media for the last 10 years and you've changed your world for the last 5 months, that is not enough time. Your hair is still damaged and it's going to take time to fix it. All right, please understand that if it took you 15 years to damage your hair, you will not be able to fix 15 years of damage in a 20-minute appointment, in an hour-and-a-half appointment, by using a product that's sitting under the dryer for 30 minutes. It doesn't work like that. The worst part about the whole product craze thing that everybody was going through is it put everybody in this state of no accountability. Like, I don't have to do my own hair. I don't have to, you know, take control of my hair growth cycle myself. All I have to do is go get this product, and as long as I use this product, my hair gonna be straight. And it does not work like that. I don't care what product you get. I don't care how expensive it is. I don't care if it's made with Egyptian silk soap. I don't care. If you do not have the proper routines and the proper patterns that fit the science of your body, it will not work. Period. And that happens, that goes for any form of medicine, with anything. If you do not have the proper foundation, nothing is gonna work. A builder doesn't build the proper foundation for your house is not going to stand. It's not going to have stability. That's why all of these builders, all of these people that were buying all of these houses that are now freaking sinking, because everybody was doing it in the midst of a bunch of stuff happening. So there was no real time and no real logic put into building the foundation. We have to build the foundation, and they use the fact that they know that people had no interest in accountability or building any type of foundation, and they know that that would be an easy target because supply and demand. There is a problem over here, there's a demand for something over here. They know that there's this middle gap to it that people have to follow, and they know that if they could put something in between here from point A, if this is point A and point B is where we're getting to, and if they could find something to put in the middle to make you feel like that's the bridge from you to get to point A to point B, then they would do it. And that's what they did with hair products, and that is why you see everything go from one stage to such a big drastic shift. Like, we went from no relaxers, no combs, no brushes, no nothing, to everybody getting relaxers. And then once everybody got relaxers, that was like, oh no, not over my dead body, ain't nobody getting no dead relaxers, no. So then everybody starts suing, because people, they found an opportunity. They found another money bag. They was losing some of their money because y'all not buying into that Team Natural shit no more. So they had to come along with something else, and they are making millions of dollars off of black women saying that the relaxers cause cancer. And the lawyers are making millions, but the women are getting $20, $30 checks. We have to understand when we're being manipulated, and you have to pay attention. This isn't to make you feel bad. My dad always used to tell me, it is only when things are hidden from you that it's a problem. That's the only time that it's a problem. But when something is in front of your face and you can see it for what it is, it's no longer an issue, because you can sit down, assess it, really look at everything that you did before, the mistakes that you made from a higher perspective, right? From a higher perspective, like, yeah, that was dumb. Okay, let me do it this way this time, and then look at all of the points that you went wrong, and teach people not to fall into those same mistakes, so we're not constantly doing the same stupid shit year after year. Oh my God, that's why we can't figure out how to rebuild the pyramids, because we still worried about whether or not rice nipple juice grow our hair out. Like,